Knicks are the 13th team in NBA postseason history to win 9 straight playoff games. 7 of the previous 12 went on to win the title. The Knicks have outscored opponents by almost 24 points per game during that run, the best 9-game stretch in postseason history. Stephen A. Smith is back with us. Okay, so I know you know they haven't been to the finals since 1999. What have you seen from this team as they eye getting back?
Well, listen, I mean, first of all, you're led by Jalen Brunson, who's averaging 28 and 10 on 49% shooting. He's been absolutely sensational of scoring game one, of playmaking game two. Josh Hart, the Energizer Bunny, he's come together. He's handled his business. Very, very happy with him. Mikal Bridges, let me say this. Let me bring this thing up. I've been all over him because I needed more. And he's been giving it to us. The man's shooting about 60% from three-point range. He is averaging over 18 points a game. They're getting offense. They're playing together. They're playing unselfishly. They're playing stout defense, particularly when it counts. They keep this up, obviously. They're going to the finals. Just like I said, they're going to the finals. That's how it's going to go down.
I do want to ask you, you're pretty confident you think they're going to the finals before we go to the next question about the Cavs?
Absolutely. This series is over. The Cavs are not coming back. This ain't the Detroit Pistons. This is the New York Knicks. They're not giving up this 2-0 lead. Don't even worry about that.
Let's talk about the Cavs, though. They're in a 2-game hole going back to Cleveland. How do they steal a game at home?
Donovan Mitchell's got to play big. I think you've gotten to the point where you can't expect anything from from James Harden offensively, because he has not been himself at all. 35% from the field, 26% from three-point range, and it always happens this time of year, meaning deep into the playoffs. It's unfortunate, but that's just his MO right now. How about making sure that Evan Mobley, who scores 14 points for you in the first half and is the leading scorer, actually takes a shot in the second half? How about that? That would go a long way. And oh, by the way, not giving up wide open three-point shots to Josh Hart, to Karl Anthony Towns, to Mikal Bridges, to OG Anunoby. You got to play some defense. You got to play big. You got to play some defense, obviously. And your stars have to be stars. That starts with Donovan Mitchell. On your home court, that's what it's going to require. Okay, so obviously Knicks fans were chanting 4-0. They think the Knicks are going to sweep this one. Do you agree with the rest of the Knicks fans? No, I think that Donovan Mitchell is gifted enough, and them collectively as a defense, when they amp it up, are good enough to steal you a game on their home court. But they won't win both. They'll lose one, they'll win another, and the New York Knicks come back to the Garden Wednesday night, Game 5, close it out, and go back to the finals for the first time since 1999. All right, we'll see what happens. Stephen A. Smith, thank you very much. Orange and blue skies, baby.
Yeah. We are now joined by Mark Malusis and Ty Butler for more on the Knicks' convincing Game 2 win. Guys, what a reversal of fortune for Josh Hart, benched in Game 1, leading scorer in Game 2. Ty, what is it about Hart's makeup that helped him have a bounce-back game?
So once upon a time, we all watched The Last Dance and the infamous scene of Michael Jordan saying, "And I took that personal." Josh Hart, for the last 48 hours, took it personally when all he heard was, should he be a part of a starting lineup, that when he's in that starting lineup, they've gone to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. And so tonight, he sets the tone, playoff career high. We show you his numbers, 26 points. And he's like, I can do more than that. How about 7 assists and 4 rebounds? He was tremendous in this game. And in order for the Knicks to win a championship, which a lot of us are starting to believe they can do, they need him at their best, and that's in the starting lineup. And he proved tonight it was the correct decision to leave him in there.
Yeah, listen, I think Mike Brown has emphasized all season long, you want to go out there and share the basketball. I don't know what's more stunning, Hart scoring 26 or he took 21 shots. I mean, that's the other aspect of it. But if you're going to leave a guy wide open, and that's basically what the Cleveland Cavaliers were doing with Jarrett Allen guarding him and leave him open on the outside, at some point in time, you got to make him pay. So Hart has struggled shooting from the outside. There's no doubt about it. You wouldn't look at him as being this offensive centerpiece when you're looking at the New York Knicks. But tonight, he had his night at Madison Square Garden. So as Ty pointed out, whether it be the benching in the fourth quarter, rightfully so, because Landry Shamet earned the playing time and played tremendous defense on Donovan Mitchell down the stretch and hit some big shots for the New York Knicks, or a case of him hearing some of the stuff and him stepping up and play tonight. He was an offensive star when this Knicks team needed it.
It's a daily double for Mike Brown. The adjustment in Game 1 works with Shamet, and then he gets a motivated Hart in Game 2. All right, Mikal Bridges, 9 of 12 from the field. Moose, how is the perception of him and the feeling about about his game changing the postseason?
A ton. I mean, monumental. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's a night and day difference. I mean, you look at Mikal Bridges. Everyone at the time, I mean, for a large stretch here, looked at Mikal Bridges and said, well, the Knicks overpaid, right? Let the emotions, Villanova, everything like that. Who exactly has given up the draft capital to go get Mikal Bridges? And for the rest of most of the regular season, you were a little concerned about what the role was for Mikal Bridges. But you started to see toward the tail end of that Atlanta series, and then in the Philly series, and now obviously first two games of this Cavaliers series, where Mikal Bridges has become more of that offensive player. You know he can go out there and guard. You know he can defend on the wing. They need him to be an offense. If you're going to win an NBA championship and take down Oak City or San Antonio, because they're getting past the Cavaliers, you're going to need Mikal Bridges not only great defensively but offensively. And right now, if they win the NBA title, you could give up 10 first-round picks. It doesn't matter.
We don't really hear too much about the picks when he's playing this one. And as you mentioned, it started in Game 6 of that Hawks series. And it just feels like, because we've seen it now back-to-back years, he's a playoff riser. That Celtics series, the Knicks don't win without Mikal Bridges. His defense, and underrated, he had some big shots during those 20-point comebacks. And then tonight, man, where Jalen Brunson in that first half had 2 points, just 2 more than you and I had. The Knicks still had a lead. It was because of Josh Hart, but also Mikal Bridges providing that spark, and we saw him on both ends getting after it. He just looks much more comfortable and in a rhythm. And the Knicks fans have let him hear it. It hasn't gotten to his head and derailed him. This dude has been balling. You've got to give him massive credit.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We haven't heard about the draft picks in a while, but first loss, we'll hear about him again. All right, before the season, it was finals or bust for this ball club. They're now 2 wins away from the NBA Finals, thanks to their franchise record 9th straight playoff victory. Moose, is this run that they're on now more about the Knicks or their competition?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, listen, I'm not going to go out there and rain on the Knicks parade. They've been unbelievable, right? But let's be perfectly honest. I mean, you took on a Philadelphia team that was basically 6 guys deep, and Joel Embiid couldn't run up and down the court, and nobody really thought the Cavaliers stood a chance. The Knicks were a 3-1 favorite going into this series. Now, when the Cavs are up 22 or 22 points with a tad under 8 minutes to go in Game 1, no one thinks the Knicks are going to win that series. But I think it's a little combination of both. I think it's been an easy roll in terms of the opponents, but the Knicks have played spectacular basketball.
I think at some point the Knicks, who have won 50 games 3 straight seasons and are rightfully the NBA favorites coming out the Eastern Conference, have to get credit, because you can't continue to perform like this. They've got 10 wins in the playoffs, 9 of them by double digits. So I understand the lesser competition. You still got to go out there and perform, and they've done that.
And you look at the New York Knicks and what they brought to the table, and here's the reality of the situation that can't be ignored. Unless they win the championship, chances are you're still going to have to make changes this summer. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airwaves of Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. 888-623-3646. I'm excited, no doubt. New York Knicks up 2-0 in this best of 7 Eastern Conference final series between the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Josh Hart showed up, showed out, had about 26 points last night, hit about 5 threes. The New York Knicks handled their business, after being the worst team in terms of them being the worst play, meaning a minus like 23 or whatever in Game 1. He showed up and showed out, missed his first three-pointers, and Jalen Brunson and them kept giving him the ball, kept making him shoot, telling him to shoot. And sure enough, he got that stroke going. Props to him for stepping up, handling his business, and doing the kind of things that he's capable of doing. New York ends up pulling away, winning 109-93, taking a 2-0 series lead. That's not what I walked away thinking about, though. That's not what I thought I walked away thinking about. I want to be very respectful in what I'm trying to say, because I don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers have it. I really, really don't. I know they were up 22 in Game 1. I know this was a competitive game for the first half, but to watch them in Game 2 last night, excuse me, once again, my allergies are acting up, but to watch them play again in Game 2 last night, there's so many things that I walked away looking at with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm just shocked beyond comprehension. Number one, Evan Mobley has 14 points in the first half, leading all scorers, and doesn't attempt a shot in the second half. How does that happen? How does that happen? James Harden is a guard in drop coverage. You don't see that, how that happened. But that happened. On one occasion while he was in drop coverage, he literally ran away from the ball and went to the defender near the top of the key, giving Jalen Brunson the entire left side of the court to drive to the basket. I saw Josh Hart literally stand outside the three-point line, figuratively speaking, of course. But this is how much time he had. He was so wide open. He had an opportunity to call his girl, his wife, and say, honey, I want some Uber Eats. Could you order that for me after the game and all of this other stuff before he attempted the damn shot? That's how wide open he was. That's how wide open he was. Made absolutely positively no sense to me how bad Cleveland's defense was. So that certainly was another element, right? So I got to put that out there. And last but not least, it all comes down to this. Cleveland's defense sucked. It was virtually non-existent. As my man Jay Williams pointed out, it was strategy in terms of giving in terms of giving Josh Hart open shots, but not OG Anunoby, not Mikal Bridges, not Karl Anthony Towns. Everybody was open. They were playing no defense, offering no resistance, and on top of it all, Cleveland couldn't hit any shots. I saw this last night, and I was like, this is not an Eastern Conference Finals team. Plain and simple. Which leads me to a bigger point that I need to make. And I feel I owe it to y'all to make it because I made it on First Take this morning, so I'm going to make it here right now. Just so everybody knows where I stand. The New York Knicks have now won 9 straight in the playoffs since being down 2-1 to Atlanta. Averaging 122.3 points per game on 54% shooting from the field, 41% from three-point range. 8 of their 9 wins have come by double digits. And you look at the historic run that the New York Knicks are under. Their shooting percentage over the winning streak is the largest for any team over a 9-game stretch since the 1987 Lakers. You look at all of that, and you look at the New York Knicks and what they brought to the table, and here's the reality of the situation that can't be ignored. Unless they win the championship, chances are you're still going to have to make changes this summer. I'm not bringing it up to belabor it. I'm just bringing it up to let you know where I stand on these airwaves since I've said it on other airwaves. And I want you to know where I stand. Because when I look at Oklahoma City and San Antonio, I see the 2 best teams in basketball. Now, there are some that believe that the Knicks would lose to OKC. I'm one of those people. But that they'd beat San Antonio, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. And it ain't just because of Wemby. It's because of Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell. Or Vassell. And Dylan Harper. And Champagnie. And 6th Man of the Year, Keldon Johnson. I mean, San Antonio's got weapons all over the place. And they're deep at the guard spot. Maybe not the point guard spot. Because with De'Aaron Fox being out, Stephon Castle has on-ball responsibilities, and he's got 20 turnovers in the first 2 games. I understand. But if you got all your ducks in order, if De'Aaron Fox can play, if he's not still being plagued by that high ankle sprain, San Antonio and OKC, probably the 2 best teams in basketball. And if you lose to them in the NBA Finals, how do you stand pat if you're the New York Knicks? We don't have to belabor that now. I'm just telling you because I wanted to make sure that it was out there. Since I said it elsewhere, I wanted to make sure I said it right here to my audience. If you're the New York Knicks, the only way you don't make changes this year is if you win it all. If you don't win it all, you still might have to make changes. Because the Eastern Conference is only going to be better next year. And the NBA as a whole is only going to be better next year. And San Antonio would have had some experience under them, and Oklahoma City is already a reigning defending champion. So chances are, this is your lot in life if you're the New York Knicks. And you're going to have to make these decisions, and you're going to have to act accordingly. I'm just looking at them right now, and I'm saying to myself, listen, I can't ignore what I'm seeing. It's beautiful to watch Jalen Brunson lead the way he's leading. It's beautiful to watch that cardiac kid, Josh Hart, step up the way that he did, being an energizer bunny that he can be, and showing out yesterday offensively. It was beautiful seeing Karl Anthony Towns stroke that three from the left corner. Or Mikal Bridges balling the way that he's been balling. Let's give him some love. We got to do that. Because when I think about Mikal Bridges, we all know I was hard on him. I ain't apologizing for anybody. I went the hell off when the Atlanta Hawks went up 2-1 on the New York Knicks. I went the hell off. New York Knicks haven't lost since. Hell, I might give another one of those diatribes. Whatever it takes. This is what you need. And I'm just saying to you right now, Mikal Bridges, 19 points, 9 of 12 shooting from the field. Karl Anthony Towns, 18 points, 7 of 12 shooting from the field, and 13 rebounds. And 3 3-pointers. The New York Knicks look like a well-oiled machine. But it's been against Atlanta, Philadelphia, and now Cleveland. Forgive me if I'm not writing home about who the New York Knicks have been going against. You got to go against the people that's on the court against you. It ain't their fault. But nevertheless, they are who they are. None of whom are the Oklahoma City Thunder or the San Antonio Spurs. Who are the two teams? One of them will be awaiting the winner of this series that the Knicks are up 2-0 on. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to quote. That's 888 623-3646. Cleveland attempted 18 more free throws than the Knicks, but made just 22 or 32. They got outscored by the Knicks 58-40 in the paint. New York Knicks had 32 assists versus 8 turnovers for an incredible 4-to-1 ratio. Say what you will. New York Knicks doing what they're supposed to do. And then you look at Evan Mobley, 14 points in the first half, don't attempt a shot in the second half. And Jared Allen, him too. I mean, what the hell's going on here? I can't believe it. But it is what it is. New York Knicks on this run. We're all excited. But remember, I'm not going to sit up there. I want the chip. We ain't won a title since 1973. I'm looking for the chip, and I ain't apologizing for it to anybody. That's what I want. Anything else, then you got to be in constant pursuit of it. And if that means you got to wait, you got to go out there and make a change, and you got to go out there and make a deal for Giannis Antetokounmpo, if you don't win the chip, anything's possible. That's how I look at it. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. I just thought that Cleveland's situation is just atrocious. The way they play defense, the way they allowed open shots. And I think that Kenny Atkinson, the head coach for the Cavaliers, the more he opens his mouth, the more he incriminates himself. Let's hear from him, fellas. Let's play Kenny Atkinson's. The mindset going back to Cleveland down 0-2. Listen to him.
Could easily stole game one. I thought our process was right tonight. So that gives me confidence going home. Obviously, we got the great home crowd, have played well at home in the playoffs. So we need to get our legs under us, quite honestly. Like, you know, we know their rest advantage. So getting home always helps with that. Definitely probably didn't have the juice tonight that we needed to, which is kind of, you know, it's going to hit it sometime.
Would have had the juice if you didn't lose a 22-point lead with 7 minutes left in game one. And didn't have to go to overtime before you lost that game. Just thought I'd throw that out there. He wasn't finished, though. he had to say something about Allen and Mobley, his big boys, not getting the ball. Listen to Coach Atkinson and what he had to say about that.
We got to look at it because that's obviously as well as Evan played in the first half. He should have more shots. Again, I could just say they were really tagging our rollers. They are in there. And, my big kind of preaching to them these past day or two is hit the open man, and I felt like they did that. So, we'll have to look at it. Of course, always got the offensive boards. Can we get out and transition more? That would be another way. But yeah, you're right, Dave. We got to find a way to get them involved more, even with the defense they're playing.
Well, that sounds nice. And that clearly was one of the biggest reasons they lost. But the biggest reason was Atkinson's decision to blitz Brunson, because that meant leaving Josh Hart open, evidently.